Willkommen, Herr Daly here. This video is part 4 of the Junior Cert German written and oral questions. If you've watched any of the other parts, you'd know that this video goes through a variety of questions that students would need to answer in both written and oral or speaking format. To engage with the examination process successfully. So, for example, the first question is: Spielst du ein Instrument? Do you play an instrument? The expectation is that after each question or every couple of questions, you'd pause the video. You would see, can you provide a suitable speaking response to that question of 1 or 2 sentences? Can you provide the same or similar responses in a written format if that question came up in a note or a letter section? And as a basic premise, do you know enough domain or specific vocabulary about the theme so that when you're doing a reading comprehension or you're doing a listening exercise, that you can recognize key vocabulary to be able to understand and answer the question successfully? So that's the approach you'll be using in this video, not only stopping the video to see if you can answer. So we'll go on to the second question. Was machst du nicht gern? What do you not like doing? So again, can you provide a speaking answer? Can you provide a written answer? Do you know enough grammar to be able to write the answer correctly? And do you know any general vocabulary so that you can be able to answer any reading or listening comprehension successfully, as you'll find out when we have more specific questions like was machst du gern? What do you like doing? Wohin gehst du gern? Where do you like going? Okay, was ist deine Lieblingsfarbe? So again, if we look at the basic theme of the reading and listening, do you know all of the colours? Do you know how to say light blue and dark red, for example? As you go through the video, I'd like you to have a notebook or your diary beside you so that any questions you can't answer, you note down that you have difficulty answering certain type of questions or certain themes, and this list will form your own personal revision sheet so that you can either engage with the teacher or a colleague of yours, or just revise the relevant chapter in your book, or go back to your portfolio, or go back to your vocabulary copies to make sure that you're able to answer the questions going forward. So, kannst du dein Zimmer beschreiben? So, if you can't describe your room, or you can't talk about items of furniture in your bedroom, you need to go back and revise those. Revise whether they're dirty and das also. Can you put them in a sentence properly? And just be able to correct any learning, because if you don't do that, you're only just you're just facing the same problem and issue over and over again, and it just further demotivates you. So, as I mentioned in the other part videos, that once you have a list organized of what you don't know, then organize that list in terms of priority, as to say, okay, what do I need to learn the most, which could maybe knock off 1 or 2 other ones on the list because the themes are interconnected, or by learning this theme, I need to revise a certain aspect of grammar, which may make it easier to learn the other points. So again, it's a good transferable skill from all the other subjects. So kannst du dein Zimmer beschreiben? So I'll just keep going, and you can stop at will following the method I provided. So, wo würdest du am liebsten wohnen? Where would you like to live? Where would you prefer to live? Gib Gründe. Give reasons. Kannst du deinen Wohnort beschreiben? Can you describe your area where you live? Wo wohnst du am Stadtrand? Do you live on the city edge or around the edge? So, as opposed to providing a ja and nein answer. Can you qualify the answer? Can you expand upon it? Can you give your contrasting argument? So that's a duplicate card. Wohnst du in der Mitte? Do you live in the city? Do you live in the center? Wohnst du in der Stadt? Do you live in the city? Wohnst du then I finish off the sentence, des Dorfes in the village. So Mitte, Stadt, Dorfes. Wohnst du in der Nähe des Dorfes, der Stadt? Do you live in the center of the village or the city? Was ist Umwelt? What is environment? Was kann man in machen? What can do? What can one do somewhere? Was ist das größte Problem? What is the biggest problem? And we're talking about Umwelt, but you can talk about any topic because there could be various contexts. So, haben Sie noch Platz frei? Do you have any space free, please? Können wir eine Reservierung machen? Can we have a reservation? Benutzt du den Computer, das iPad für Hausaufgaben? Do you use the computer or the iPad for homework? Wie feiert man in... So how does one celebrate something somewhere? Is the intention of the question. Was ist für dich bei Lehrern und Lehrerinnen am wichtigsten? So number one is that, again, via error in laminating, I could have put in the umlaut, but there should be an umlaut over the U. So für over the U, there should be an umlaut. So again, for written spelling. So what is most important for you in terms of teachers? So we're talking about attributes and qualities. Wie war das Wetter? How is the weather? How was the weather? Was magst du? Dein Vater? Deine Mutter vom Beruf? Okay, so what do you, your father, your mother do as a profession? Either. Wie oft surfst du im Internet? How often do you spend on Internet? Spielst du gern Computerspiele? Do you like playing computer games? Haben Sie Zimmer frei? Do you have a free room? Was möchtest du später gern machen? What would you like to do later on in life or anything? Was magst du gern? What do you like doing? Wo finde ich? Where do I find something? Was darf es sein? What will it be? Wie viel Geld hast du? How much money do you have? Was für eine Sendung ist das? What type of TV show is it? Welche Vorteile und Nachteile gibt es zwischen die beiden Schulsystemen? So, if we're talking about contrasting the German and Irish system, what are the Vorteile, advantages und Nachteile, disadvantages gibt es zwischen between die beiden both Schulsystems, school systems? Hättest du gern einen freien Nachmittag? Do you like having free evenings? Wie beginnt die Woche? How does the week begin for you? Wann hast du Geburtstag? When is your birthday? Nach der Schulzeit, was willst du machen? After school period, what do you want to do? Was ist dein Lieblingsessen? What's your favorite food? Wie alt bist du? What age are you? Hast du schon einen Austausch gemacht? Have you done an exchange or a cultural exchange or school exchange done previously? Describe. Kannst du einen typischen Schultag beschreiben? Can you describe a typical school day? Was machst du in der Schule? What do you do at school? Spendest du Geld? Do you donate any money? Und wo ist die dritte Welt? Where is the third world? Or you could say, was ist die dritte Welt? Was ist die dritte Welt? But wo ist die dritte Welt is simply geographical. You can mention countries. Was is a little bit more conceptual in terms of like analysis and thinking. Wie lange sitzt du täglich am Computer? How long do you sit daily at your computer? Was hast du am Samstag oder am Wochenende gemacht? What do you do on Saturday or on the weekend? Bist du sportlich? Are you sporty? Wie oft machst du whatever? How often do you do something? Wo kauft man eine Fahrkarte? Where does one buy a travel ticket? Geht das zusammen oder getrennt? So together or separate? So under what context would you either answer that question or provide the statement? Was für something haben Sie? What type of whatever do you have? Wie viel Uhr kommt something an? So what time does the train arrive or whatever arrives? Zug, train. Wann fährt der nächste Zug? So when does the next train travel? Spielt das Wetter eine Rolle? Does the weather play a role? Gehst du immer zu Schuss or zu Schule? So do you always walk? Again, the context of how do you travel to school? Kann ich dort aussteigen, umsteigen? So aussteigen, can you get off? Umsteigen is can you change? I don't know what train. And I don't have it written there, but then you have einsteigen, would be for getting on, which is what you would have done in a previous step in reference to this question. Was nimmst du mit? Talking about Urlaub, what do you take with you? Wie wäre es mit einer Jugendherberge? So, how about a youth hostel? What was it like? Talking about Urlaub.